Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today I wanted to do this little audio message because I had a really good question come up to me this week, which was around your intuition. And the question really was, how can I really tell apart my intuition from my thoughts? Now, great question, but I think it can be a little tricky, especially if you're new to trying to figure out your intuition and how to really strengthen it. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for, a video or an audio message to really explain that if you're not in tune with, what intuition really looks like. So this is hopefully going to help you along your, journey of trying to strengthen your intuition. Now I'll kind of go over maybe 5 examples with some analogies of what this might look like for you that might really help you understand this a bit better. Now, the first one can really be said to be that intuition is kind of very subtle, very quiet, versus your thoughts, your mind can be very loud and almost creating dialogue around what you felt like you had clarity on. So, for example, let's say that you have, a relationship that you're in. And your intuition is occasionally just subtly trying to give you that hint of this is not the right connection for you. And it kind of is just that subtle. You can feel it inside your bones, but you don't know why, because everything else on the outside seems to kind of maybe be going well. But when you start thinking about this, your thoughts are going wild in terms of, but what if I'm wrong? Maybe I'm just overreacting. It's only been 6 months. Maybe I need to think about this again. Maybe I need to keep going. So that's the difference between intuition. It's very subtle, just comes in crisp and clear, but short and straight to the point, versus in mental chatter. Now, the second one is that intuition is very, you can say, neutral. Versus thoughts can be super highly charged and emotional. For example, intuition kind of works almost like a compass, kind of just guiding you gently without any urgent nature of what to do. Like it's not going to say, you must do this by this day. Versus your thoughts, let's say intuition says, apply for a certain opportunity. Your mind will create stuff like, emotional basically responses to this, which is, but what if you fail, but you're not good enough, you don't have the experience? What if you get judged, but you suck at interviews? That mental chatter is your thoughts, it's your mind, versus the intuition of just aiming for it, just simply aiming for it. That is the intuition. Now, the third one you want to pay attention to really has to do with how a particular intuitive download makes you feel. So, for example, intuition usually gives you a positive feeling versus, the mind might send you in a spiral because that's really your ego as well, stuck in there. And you want to pay attention to that. For example, if you have a thought like, let me move across the country because I think it's calling to me, that is your intuition. But on the other hand, if your mind starts adding things like, but what about your current place of work? What about family? What about friends? You've never done anything like this before. That is your mind. And in case you start to feel tension, anxiety, your body tenses up when you're thinking about this, then that is not your intuition. That is strictly your mind. Next, we can talk about how intuition really just anchors you in the present moment. Now, when you're looking at your mind, when it tosses you into these loops, it's usually based off of fear or anxiety dealing with the past or, things that could go wrong in the future. Versus intuition will always just be about right in this moment, right here and now, what can you actually do? So intuition kind of is your doorway to now versus your, thoughts will toss you into a loop, leading you to all sorts of fear, anxiety, dealing with the past and future. And last but not least, you can almost say that intuition is rather consistent. It will not change Like, you cannot have an intuitive thought that is conflicting in 5 different ways within the span of a day. It will keep calling to you in the same way over and over again, versus the thoughts, those take you all over. They keep shifting, reshaping themselves, reappearing, disappearing, and your emotions spiral up and down with. So that is definitely something to pay close attention to. So overall, these are 5 things you can kind of watch out for if you're really trying to tell apart your intuition from your actual thoughts. Then definitely apply some of the things I've said here. If you wanted to go a little bit further, just to run a simple test, you can always ask yourself, what I'm feeling, does it give me peace or does it feel like pressure? If it's peace, it's definitely intuition. And if it's got any anxiety, pressure associated with it, then that is definitely your mind. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. God bless.